What's up, everybody? Thank you so much for listening. I wanted to put this in the top of the show. Make sure you subscribe on Patreon, patreon.com/Brennan Tassif. Check out the merch store at brennantcomedy.com to get your ex-drinking buddy merch. Subscribe, rate, and review wherever you listen to podcasts. As always, we're coming to you live from Gotham Production Studios, and I hope you enjoy the episode.
Grab me a beer and grab me a coke. We bout to sit for an hour, bullshit and tell jokes. And please don't mix it up, cause he done sobered up. Brennan T Comedy on your social media feeds. And Brennan Tassif is your ex-drinking buddy. Brennan Tassif is your ex-drinking buddy. Brennan Tassif is your ex-drinking buddy. Brennan Tassif is your ex-drinking buddy.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into another edition of Brennan Tassif is your ex-drinking buddy. I'm your host, Brennan Tassif. If you're new to the program, quick rundown of the show. I used to be everyone's favorite drinking buddy. It was my favorite thing to do, was to drink, do drugs, hang out with friends, get in all sorts of trouble, and then reminisce about those crazy stories. I am sober now, but that is still one of my favorite things to do, hang out with someone and reminisce about the crazy old days. Most weeks I'll be joined by a guest. This week is no exception. All the way from New York City, Rami Even-Esh.
Yeah, man.
What's up, man?
It's cool. I'm here.
Yeah.
I don't really get introduced as Rami Even-Esh. That was awesome.
Yeah.
You know,
you go by
Kosha Dillz.
Kosha Dillz.
But it was cool. You're like the first person to introduce me as Rami Even-Esh.
Well, it's interesting because I've had people on that have different stage names.
Yeah.
And then it's one of those weird things where it's like, well, what do you want me? And I always just go by the name. To be honest with you, I go by the name that's on the whatever app.
Instagram.
Yeah, whatever app that I was communicating with them on.
I'm being obsessed with using my real name as of recent to like find myself.
Yeah.
You're like, well, the @ is Kosha Dillz. So everyone's like Kosha Dillz. So it's just kind of interesting if like you were named, if everyone's like, hey, drinking buddy.
Yeah.
They would only, because you're known as like what you do. And you're like, I podcast and I'm drinking buddy.
Yeah.
The ex-drinking buddy. Oh, yeah, ex-drinking buddy. And then your nephews and nieces are like, hey, ex-drinking buddy. And you're like, you're 7.
That actually does happen to me at work. I work with people where English isn't their first language, but they'll follow me. Some of them follow me on social media. So when I come in, they go, hey, ex-drinking buddy.
I love how politically correct that was.
I didn't do an accent.
You know, people whose English isn't their first language.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. So then they go by what they see on the app.
Right.
Because I've worked there. I've worked at the restaurant I've been at now for over 2 years, and most of the staff
the restaurant
cannot
business
pronounce
is
my name.
Brennan.
No, it's more, and mostly it's Brandon.
Brandon.
And I'll be like, there's no D. And they go, Brendan. And I go, Brennan. And they go, I said Brendan. And I'm like, all right, cool. I'm just Brandon. That's awesome.
I had a friend who was named Brian. He's like, call me B. I was like, call you B? That's fucking weird.
That's funny you say that, because I used to actually get visibly upset when people would be like, yo, Big B. And I go, it's Brennan. And I don't even know why that started, but I'd be like, it's Brennan.
I get visibly upset when people say kosher with a hard R.
Oh, yeah. And that's the name of the episode, with the hard R.
Don't say my name with a hard R. It's kosha, not kosher. All right.
I wanted, you reached out because I had Lee on, and you were like, hey, man, I've been sober too.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, fucking let's do it, dude.
Yeah, Lee's great. Lee's great. Danny's great. Our sober buddies.
Yeah, we have some sober buddies in comedy. I wanted to talk about, before we get into some of the stories and stuff like that, because you've been sober 19 years.
19.
That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
That's awesome.
A whole
Congratulations,
child.
man. Yeah. But how did you even get to New York? Because we've been here about the same amount of time. Where are you originally from?
New Jersey.
Okay.
I got sober and arrested all my times in New Jersey. I moved to California with about 8 years clean. That was 2011. Drove across the country. Did I tour across America? I think I did like 15 shows across the U.S. and then landed in L.A. And then from there, I did my time, did 8 years, went to 2019, left LA, went to Israel, stayed in Israel probably like summer of 2019 till 2020, right before the pandemic, because I came for a US tour and then I just never went back.
Okay.
Like everything was just like the world shut down. And then I went back to my old place in LA, which I was still able to get, and just navigated there for like a little bit. And then I was like, I'm out. Like, let's do New York. My homie's like, I got a van. with some PPP loan money or like unemployment, and drove across America in like a 1993
For real?
Econo van. Yeah.
Just doing spots?
Just like, I think we did some shows and just went places and went to Vegas.
Dude,
It's like
that's sick.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's,
So what did you start doing? Because you've done sketch and stuff too, or have you just done stand up?
Nah, stand up is new because I'm all wilding out.
Yeah.
So I always dreamed of, like, I remember doing some open mics and stuff like on tour. I think I clearly remember once doing something in Asheville, North Carolina, and be like, I'm going to go on this open mic. And then I started rapping, and I think someone threw a tomato at me.
Really?
Yeah.
What year was that?
I don't even, could have early 20, could have been 2009, could have been 2013. 2015, I don't know. I think it was around that era.
So did you get into show business before you got sober or after?
After.
Okay.
I mean, I was rapping and stuff, but like, my first thing was 2005. I was trying to put a record out, just printing up CDs and rapping, and just being a recording artist.
Yeah, my twin sister, her ex-boyfriend from back when we were like 18, he lives in LA now, but he does music in LA. He does R&B and hip hop and stuff. But I remember those days when we were basically kids, and they would just get their friends together and get like a laptop or a computer and like just record, and then we'd print out the CDs and like
Burn
just pass,
CDs.
Yeah, just pass them out.
I was burning CDs on my compact Presario.
Damn. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. And they had like an inkjet printer where it would like print like a CD.
The actual
sticker
cover. Yeah. I remember.
On the CD, not like the inserts. And then I graduated to like the inserts, where I went to like a mixtape guy in Newark.
Okay.
And then
when did you start doing music? How old were you?
I mean, my first CD, that was 2004. I mean, like, I started rapping when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
But
Was this in like school or like how did you
high school?
How did you find it, I guess is what I'm asking.
I had a friend who was, a rapper in Queens, and he worked at a record store, and he was really good at battle rap. And at this place called New Poets Cafe, very classic New York poetry. New York's and Puerto Rican. That's it. That's what what a New Rican is. And they had like some open mics out there, jam sessions with a live band. This is sort of like, the kind of jazz rap vibe, underground hip hop.
Yeah.
Poetry.
That's something I'm very interested in. That's because this is an area where a lot of it started. Obviously, hip hop
started in the Bronx.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
50 years of hip hop right now.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
They're crazy, right?
Yeah.
But it's crazy to think that I was doing hip hop when it was like 20 some years of
25
hip-hop.
years of hip hop. You're like, yeah,
that's
let's
crazy.
go.
25 years of hip hop. I'd be like, yeah, fucking congratulations, dude. Go jump off a 3-foot building. I don't know.
So you get into music through your friend, and then did you have a talent for? Because again, being in that environment, I couldn't do
I was
it.
competitive, so I liked battle rap. And
Yeah.
I liked going at other people and stuff.
Because we would get drunk, and then they would all be like throwing back and forth, and then they'd look at me, and I'd be like, "I've got nothing. Like I don't do this."
I loved competing. You know what I'm saying? So I was a wrestler in high school and college, and I just liked me versus you, and I liked the shock value. It made me feel good, like being like the only dude who wasn't black in a room, and they were like, nah. And this is like, Eminem had just kind of come out. This is like early 2000s. And you're like, really? This is crazy. Like, I remember like a really successful Chinese rapper, Jin, battling, and people just saying the craziest shit. And I'm like, dude, that would never happen today. Like, people like, that is so crazy. And it's so funny. And he became sort of like a faith-based rapper over the years, and he was involved in and he had a record deal with DMX and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, Jin, check him out. He was the first Chinese rapper. Now he could rap in Mandarin, and he had a song called "Y'all Gonna Learn Chinese." Like, yeah, I'm gonna teach everybody Chinese. And I was just like, and it's just a bunch of black dudes. Yeah, it was dope. And he sold records because back then people were selling CDs. There was a lot of money in music. Now, the money is very thin. It's more similar to comedy.
Well, yeah, that was the thing when all the streaming services came out. Everyone was just like, "Oh, we don't sell
before,"
anything
but yeah, yes.
We just
now we print up our vinyl. So tapes are back.
Yeah, the vinyl, and then as corny as it sounds, it's almost come full circle where merch is the thing. Obviously, I wear all my shit, but it was like one of those things where it went from, you get merch to sell to like make money to keep doing the road. And then you get to a certain point where you're like, oh, that's hacky. But now it's come full circle because we don't sell CDs. We don't sell specials.
merch.
You don't
buy T-shirts.
You buy T-shirts.
I sell socks.
Do you really?
I got mad socks.
Really?
Pickle sock. A lot of pickle themed stuff. This is actually from a pickle company, Grillo's.
Yeah.
Shout out to them.
Why
And,
pickles?
Kosha Dillz.
Got it. Where did that?
Didn't become a thing until 2015 when Pickle Rick came out. I was on Warp Tour. Remember Warp Tour?
Oh yeah, I remember. I went to Warp Tour a bunch back in Florida.
I feel like Josh is on tour with Josh Adam Meyer's on tour with Jelly Roll.
Yeah.
Kind of like a similar world, very unique and like to what it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the merch that was there. Yeah, it has this specific kind of audience that kind of comes out, and it's like a mix of rock and rap and all kind of stuff. And obviously, being like the Jewish rapper with a pickle green, and they're like, Pickle Rick. And I was just like, I'm selling pins. I'm selling pickle pins. I'm selling CDs with pickle covers. I had a spoof. My album, What I Do All Day in Pickle, was like a spoof of the Velvet Underground and Nico.
Okay.
From, Andy Warhol. So instead of the banana, it was a pickle.
Pickle.
Yeah. And everyone's like, I like the pickle CD. Just like playing into this audience of like, how am I going to get them to stop?
Mm-hmm.
So... yeah, I was coming up with clever ways to do it. I'm like, am I really doing this shit? Like,
and so take us through it. So you started doing all this stuff, and then obviously, what triggered in your head to be like, I'm going to LA to do this? Because you went to LA for music, I'm assuming.
Yeah, yep. Like I went to LA to music. My producer that I worked with was in LA, and I'm like, putting one foot in front of the other, just doing shows, colleges, anything, beginning to street perform, which became really big in New York for me. And one day I got a call for Warp Tour, and that was kind of the coolest thing about Warp Tour is like it's a big agency tour. It's like through CAA.
Oh,
so
shit.
If anyone knows, you're like CAA. You're like, I hit it big. I'm like, this is like the #1 booking agency, So you know in advance that you're going on this massive tour, playing for thousands of people.
Yeah, because those tours aren't small. For anyone who has never been to the Warp Tour,
it's like 10,000 a pop.
Yeah,
minimum.
We used to do it in Orlando, and they would do it at not even like the Volusia County would do it too. So they would do like 10 or 12 spots in Florida, and it was always at massive like fairgrounds, almost like fields, like giant, massive fields.
We just pop up this tent. And say, I still got the tent.
Really?
Yeah. Anyone who's done Warped Tour, they still have their tents because it's like now you pop up at these outdoor things. We're like, wow, where'd you get that? You're like, it all existed, and all these places were in business because of Warped Tour because all the people would come every summer, buy the scrims for the tents. And so it says Kosha Dillz. It's pickle green. Had a pickle that you know what I mean. It was just and it was just stuck out, and that kind of became a thing. And now foodies are like the new, so pickles are popular. You see pickle ice cream, pickle this, pickle that. So next thing is, make my own pickles and sell them.
I was going to say, I was just at work and someone had a spicy pickle flavored popcorn, like a bag. And I was like, what is this? And they were like, this is a thing.
It's a thing.
So
I've been doing it way before that was a thing.
Yeah, you've been doing it.
Yeah.
Celebrating 50 years of pickles.
Yes.
Hip hop.
Yeah.
So how did the whole Wild 'N Out thing happen then? Because was that I'm assuming that's more music based than it was comedy based because you weren't even in the comedy
just
world.
Roasting and just like dissing people with bars, like I was street performing, and I started doing things in New York during the pandemic, and I never really went viral like on Instagram, but then I started rapping in extreme weather. So like it was snowing and it was a blizzard during Hanukkah, like it's December of 2020.
Yeah, I remember.
And,
2021 is when I was here. So the
huge
winter was
blizzard,
even worse in 2020.
And there was like a rabbi, he was like lighting the menorah in Williamsburg, and I'm like, I like bought a snowsuit and just started rapping, and like this rabbi was filming me, and I posted it, and then this Instagram page, Green Pointers, reposted it, and then What Is New York posted it. And then I was like, people were like, yo, New York is crazy. New York is back. People don't give a fuck. And I'm like, you're like, oh man, this is like how to make a hit song. Like just start rapping in blizzard. So anytime it started snowing, I would be out there. Then it would be like a monsoon, guerrilla rain.
You'd go out there?
I go out. Yeah. So in a rainstorm, it was like a nor'easter. It was a Knicks game. A year later, I was Yeah, maybe not even a year later.
It wasn't even a year because I was here at that point. There was that hurricane that came through.
Yeah, and then I rapped in like.
I remember that. I walked home from the Stand to 52nd Street because all the subways were shut down.
I rapped and after a Knicks game, and Fat Joe appeared in like a massive rainstorm, but the Knicks had won, and like. He's like, Fat Joe started rapping with me, and
for real?
Yeah, and
you have this on tape?
No, yeah, it
Fuck
was
yeah,
the
dude!
biggest
That's sick.
viral thing
Yeah,
I've done. So, I mean, I was rapping, and he rapped with me, and I like knew all the words to his verse.
Yeah,
that he spit. That was like 20 years old. You know, because
so was he impressed?
Yeah. I mean, he just did it, and it was good for all parties involved. Like he.
This might sound super hacky, but I only get Mr. Softies because of like when I get ice cream on the street, like soft serve, I only look for the Mr. Softy truck because of Fat Joe.
Really?
Yeah, because he has that line like Mr. Softy on the block.
Oh man, that's crazy.
That's such a
Fat Joe says that. I don't know.
Yeah, no, but he does have that line. But it's like when I moved to New York, I was like, oh boy, I'm a New Yorker now, and I saw Mr. Softy's truck, and I was like,
there you go,
it's fucking Fat Joe. I'm a New Yorker now.
Shout out to Fat Joe. Shout out to Fat Joe. And he's like, he was at like the vice president's house for 50 years of hip hop, and I'm like, I was just with Fat Joe,
and basically
at the Knicks game.
Yeah,
and then I started rap out, and then like everybody goes to a Knicks game, so I'm like, I know I rapped with, Fat Joe, then I rap with rest in peace, Takeoff from the Migos.
Oh yeah,
one of the other Migos, Quavo. Offset. I rap with Offset. I rap with Gary V.
How did that happen, the Knicks game thing, where you just one night you're like...
I just post up all the time outside the Knicks games, and I'm just rapping. It's like a little gig.
So it's the street performer, and you go, okay.
That's it.
See, that's super
and I just
smart, yeah.
roasting, hey, you, and you da-da-da. You like, you know, whatever your verse. You're probably a fan of the San Antonio Spurs. Oh, my God, I hate those guys. And just like that. Yeah. You just get their attention. Like, yo, man, you're really talented. One day, maybe you should go on America's Got Talent. You're like, I hope you get hit by a UPS truck on the weekend. But you know, whatever, it's like sometimes you do it and you love it because I love being in the moment. Like right now I'm telling a story, but other times you're like, I can't believe I'm over 40 and I'm like rapping about somebody's grandma and her dog. Like whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Fucking God has given me the gift. Oh,
but I mean, it is a real thing because I find it in stand up all the time. There's certain places I go and you're doing your set and you're in the moment and it's going well and you're like, fucking, there's nowhere I'd rather be. And then like there's other times. Yeah,
there's nowhere I'd rather be than this Italian restaurant in northern New Jersey. Right. And your people like,
that's the thing.
Like, it's Jewish comedian.
Yeah. That's the crazy thing because then there are other times where I'm at an open mic and it's a bunch of like 19 and 20 somethings who are just starting their comedy career. And I'm like, well, I've got this new bit I want to do on a bigger show and I don't want it to bomb. So I'm going to work it out at an open mic. And then I'm looking around the room like, you're 35. Like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? Like, how is this your life? I say it all the time, but probably one of the most humbling experiences I've ever had in New York was I was doing a podcast in the studio with Josh Adam Myers. Mm-hmm. And I was like, Josh was one of my first guests that had any credits. And he was doing it as a favor for me when I first moved here and we were both sober and we hit it off. So Josh came onto the podcast and I was so excited. And while Josh is on the podcast, he's like texting someone. I won't say who, but it was like a bigger celebrity. And I was like, I'm like 1 degree of separation away from this massive celebrity.
Yeah.
And then literally within 2 hours, I was at the restaurant being called an idiot by my guest because I didn't know what medium rare was. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like 2 hours ago, I was like, I've made it. And now within literally 2 hours, I'm getting shit on by a guest. And I'm like, I think I'm just going to jump out of my window. Like, what the fuck is happening?
Well, you were with Josh at the restaurant? Or
no, I was with Josh here at the studio.
Okay, and then you were with somebody else.
And then a couple hours later, I went into work. Oh. And then I was on this high of like, man, oh man, I'm going to make it in comedy. I'm going to make it in something.
Sure.
And then I was getting yelled at by a guest like within a 2 to 3 hour window. So that's the thing is like, it's what you're saying with you're outside of Madison Square Garden rapping with Fat Joe. And it's like, dude, this is sick. And then an hour later, someone's like, you should go on America's Got Talent.
Yeah,
you're like, kill yourself.
Yeah, I don't want them to kill themselves.
No,
because it would be sick if I was on America's Got Talent. They're like, what do you do? And you're like, watch this. You know? Let me rap about stuff. Right, everyone hold up this item and word, and I'll just.
So you can put that stuff together that quickly?
Yeah,
that is a talent. That's a gift.
That's a talent. And I had a meeting today with another comic, shout out Chris Turner, and we were just talking about he also does freestyle rap. He's British, and we were just talking about, and we were referring to Harry Mack, and you could kind of construct these whole shows around freestyle. I've written songs with hit makers, all Grammy nominated, everyone since 2009. I've been working with these people because that's what they've developed into. And then you do all that work and work with all these great songwriters, and then everyone's like, I like your freestyle. And you're like, what about my songs? And so I've perfected freestyle, but now I'm like, studio time. I want to make songs that last forever. And I had, just in the past couple of years, I had some viral songs and songs that get a lot of streams. And I'm like, this feels very fulfilling, a little bit different. And the thing about improv, it's, for a drinking person or a drug person, it's like immediate gratification. And same as comedy. It's like you say one thing, you fall out laughing, I win.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You get the reaction right there in the room.
But then when it goes stale, you're like, oh my God, I am a bad person. I might not have a place to live. Whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever things you use to put yourself down as a creative. This is just as a creative in general. I had a good email blast. I had a good short story, and now this person doesn't think it's cool, but then one day you get, boom, a show offer, and you're like, I'm high again. But all those highs and lows really do not reflect on who we are as people. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because that really has nothing to do with it. I'm trying to work and not be excited or disappointed. It's just part of the process.
Yeah, the ups and downs can be wild. So it is very important to stay level. I was just talking to Daniel Torado. He's a very funny comic. I host another podcast with him. And he had mentioned that because I had done a show that I'd crushed, but it was in a smaller club. So I was like, oh, nobody cares. And then literally a week later, I had a show in a bigger club. And I did the same set list, and it didn't go as well. And I was like, that's devastating.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's the same thing you're talking about with music, where it's like, sometimes you crush with a song, and then other times it's just not as accepted as well.
There's so many outside factors.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into it.
You run the same jokes everywhere in the country, and in one city, someone tries to fight you. You post that video, someone trying to fight you. Everyone starts commenting, oh my God, dude, fuck that guy.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah, get him.
You get all the
get him,
support.
Brennan. And you're like, yeah. And you get all the support. And then the other place, the thing kills. And you're like, yeah. So you go viral off getting into a fight with some whatever person. It's like,
yeah, people love negativity.
They love negativity.
I wanted to ask you, how did the
I love negativity. I love negativity.
People love it. We talk about, me and Daniel and our other co-host Matt Fulstrom, we talk about it every week, man. We try to do a positivity podcast.
Boo.
And it always gets derailed. It always gets derailed.
That's funny.
How did you end up on Wildin' Out? Was that from LA?
No, that was just from the Fat Joe video.
Okay.
I feel like that was really a big catalyst. From there, I had a viral Hanukkah song. That was Gary V made an appearance in the video. Me and my buddy, I got probably 300,000, 200,000 views in a week.
That's awesome.
Hanukkah, so it was really up there, a lot of streams. It was a remix of Adam Sandler's song. I got a Variety interview because everything was happening. And then I got the audition, got a call back, went to the tryouts.
So what is that like going for the auditions? Because I've heard comics talk about it. Is it the same audition for everybody?
No, I think everyone gets kind of a different experience.
Okay.
It's difficult, especially I rap, and the main part of the show is rapping. Every show there's a battle.
Okay.
So at least once a show, people are going to be like, yo, your mom's whatever.
Yeah, that's what happens.
Yeah, man.
That show was a great idea. I remember when it first came out.
It's a great idea. It's a legendary show. It's one of the longest running shows.
Oh, God, and I was there I remember season 1.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God, how old are you? Sorry, I'm choking.
35.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when Nick first put that show together because I didn't know what it was. There was rap elements to it and hip hop elements, but then there was also, I knew Nick Cannon as a comedic actor. So I had no idea like what. So watching it for the first time, I was like, oh, this is actually pretty fucking cool.
It's sick.
There's like certain episodes where like they're just battling each other, and then there's other
There's
sketches
so much
or whatever.
rap, and that's what I do. I'm
Yeah.
known to, that's my job.
So do you ever like
Rip them up.
Do they still have?
Dillz, get them. Kosh, bars.
Do they still have guests that come on?
What? Yes.
So do
lots of guests.
Do you? Are they?
Everyone
surprised?
is ultra famous.
Okay.
Everyone's way more famous than us. It's just not that hard to do. I love it how you're taking notes. She's like way more famous than me.
Whenever you say something that I either want to put in the notes for the actual episode or I think could be a title, I'm going to write it down.
He's like sucking his own. No.
You're way more famous than us.
Way more famous
That
than
might be
us.
the title.
The cool thing about it is that like, this is crazy. Like there is this dude, his name is Fireboy DML. He was like 19. He does like Afrobeat, He has a song, Peru, 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 Peru. Like and then like later, he like did the show with us and we exchanged number. Like we do like a collaborative song together. I do a rap battle. He's there. There's another celebrity guest. And, this guy has a song, he has a couple, has 1 million followers. I'm like, wow, where you from? Is Nigeria? I'm like, that's crazy. Like, here we are in Atlanta. And, they're making a song with us. We get to make a song together, like in a song creation game, right? And then I like look online and I'm like, dude, this guy's on stage at Wembley Stadium in front of 80,000 people with Ed Sheeran. I'm like, what the fuck? Who is this little shit? You know what I mean?
19-year-old little shit.
But he was so excited to be with us because he loves the show. So because we're on the show, it's sort of like this. It's like the biggest gift you could have asked for. Plus, I'm like the Jewish guy on the show. So then I get to be like, it's like my dream. Technically, it's my dream. It's like I've always been the Jewish kid around all black people rapping in battles in, Newark. And this is stuff I remember as a teenager. Now I'm with a teenager and like kind of like the roles have changed. I'm sort of like, I'm older. You know what I mean? I'm not too old, but like it took me 17 years to kind of get my first, TV credit.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been on morning shows and things like that. And I even got a thing on late night with Stephen Colbert called Bald Festival. I created a festival for bald people. And yesterday I did Bald Hashanah, which was Rosh Hashanah, Jewish New Year. National Bald Day was yesterday. It was a hybrid.
Okay.
And I'm like, it was just, I'm like, this is a genius idea. And no one cares this time. But like Bald Fest really hit. And that was before I got onto Wild 'N Out. And, so like when I was on Wild 'N Out and I'm still on the show and we have another season coming out, you're there and you just don't know who's going to show up. Like you're working with someone one day, they're just chilling. Everyone's excited to be there because you're about to be on a legendary show.
Yeah, they're fans of the show.
Fans of the show, exactly. There's fans of the show, like they sold out Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. It's like I know the show. Like if you and I, like I said, I'm 35, so I'm a little older. But like going to the stand and stuff when I first moved here, and someone was like, oh, and then I like meet Maddie Smith, and they're like, oh, she's on Wild 'N Out. I'm like, fucking, I know that show. Like that's great. Like I know that show.
Maddie Smith is a fucking beast.
Monster.
Yeah.
But I'm curious because I want to get into the drinking stories, and you said you've been arrested a few times and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you.
And once when I was sober.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's fun.
Tell that story.
I will, but keep going.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Okay. Yeah. Let's start back from the beginning. So when did you first start like drinking and doing drugs and stuff like that? Like how old?
17, maybe 16. I remember after I took the SATs, the first one, I got into it more, you know what I mean? But like my first blackout, I was 15, but maybe my first blackout, I was 12. Like vomiting and stuff like that.
Yeah. How did it, do you remember how?
I remember drinking like before there were Tide Pods. Before there were AirPods, there were Tide Pods. Before there was that, there was just dishwasher detergent. And I don't know, I was like mixing alcohol with all kinds of things. And they were just like, Rami, just drink everything. And just,
were you doing it for effect or like why were you even doing it in the first place?
Like to like be cool amongst my like neighbor.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then at 17 is that
with his mom and stuff like that. And
oh, really?
Wild. Yeah. His mom was like, I don't know.
With his mom?
Yeah, it was. Well, she wasn't drinking dishwasher
Yeah,
detergent.
but you were.
Yeah, I was. Gotta keep it clean, you know.
Gotta keep it clean, man.
Yeah, man.
So when did you when did you start partying and stuff? Because these sound like isolated incidents.
Yeah, isolated. After I turned 17, turning 18, started a little bit. Got arrested on my 18th birthday.
This is in Jersey?
Yeah, and then I was just like dodging.
What did you get arrested for on your 18th birthday?
We went to someone's house to buy weed.
Yeah.
Who was like, you know, my old wrestling teammate or whatever the fuck. And
they were just waiting for you?
Yeah, the guns drawn and everything. It was crazy.
I've had that happen before.
I was like, dude, it's the 90s. Hello. So, and then I like went to college, and in college, which is
where did you go to college?
Rutgers.
Oh shit, that's a big school.
With my boy Brennan.
Yeah.
Shout out Ryan Brennan. I remember just going to the drinking the funnels from like the second story and just
the beer bongs and stuff. Yeah.
And just
you said you were
Halloween
wrestling in college.
Mm-hmm.
Did you go on a wrestling scholarship or did you walk on?
Nah, it was just kind of like a walk on, but like I'm part of the wrestling team, but I'm paying my way through school.
Yeah. Okay.
Like
that's what I did with football.
Yeah.
I only got a partial scholarship, so I had to pay the rest of my way.
Yeah.
So. But did you love that lifestyle of like wrestling during the day and then getting fucked up at night, or like what was your?
Yeah, I don't know. Just like there were just a lot of like me, like it was weird. I was still into just really impressing everybody, but like not being a good enough wrestler, but you know, trying to schmooze my way in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was like the thing is with sports, you can't do that.
You can't fake it.
You can't like talk your way in through the security guard. You know what I'm saying? It's sports.
I know exactly what you're saying.
Like you're about to get.
I showed up in South Florida to play D1 football, and I was like, I don't belong here.
Right.
These are men.
No, and I was holding my own the first year. Like, you know, I remember beating a guy. I was like at Harvard. It was like 2-time state champ. Like, I was beating him up. Like, I could beat a motherfucker. Like, but then when the drugs and sort of all that stuff started really taking over, like I had to wrestle off with one guy I lost that I've been wrestling for my entire life, and just like not being able to pull out some of those close victories and stuff was all due to, you know, getting high. Yeah. And then, you know, ultimately my second arrest was the end of my sophomore year. I got arrested for ecstasy. I woke up on the beach. It was like fentanyl back then. Like it was like the big thing. And then from there, you know, I had like 7 felony charges. They're like distribution.
From that one arrest?
Yeah, school. Like, like I'm going to go to prison on my first offense. Jesus. And I'm like, well, if everyone thinks I'm a drug dealer, I'm going to really be a drug dealer. So I went back like ready to do it.
What happened? What happened with the arrest? So you get arrested. You said you're on the
Then
beach.
You're on bail.
Yeah.
You're on bail. You get 10%. You pay like whatever. If it's 20,000,
so when you got out on bail, you were like, I'm going to go back now and really...
I'm going to show you guys.
I thought you meant when you resolved everything the first time, but this is when you're out. This is like the 2 months in between.
It's really over a year. So now from here to the next year, so the next whole year is like the literal downfall of my life.
Okay. Yeah, my first DUI, we did that. We kept getting I just had
pushed back,
a public defender, and he just kept pushing it back. He's like, we'll just keep pushing it until they won't let us push it anymore, and then we'll deal with it. But my second one, because I was like dead to rights, like literally like it was a mess of a situation. Mm-hmm. I literally was like, let's get this resolved now.
Right.
But so for you get arrested, 7 felony counts, and you just keep getting it pushed.
Keep getting it pushed, and I'm selling drugs hardcore.
Yeah.
Like,
what were you selling?
Coke, ecstasy.
Oh, so you're selling
weed,
everything.
Mushrooms.
Which isn't hard on campus.
Yeah, I mean, whatever is easy, not easy, whatever. I'm sure I sold downers too and Percocet. I'm sure I'm trying to sell something here or there, do some sort of deal. Anything I did to not have a regular job, essentially. And that whole year I ate California cheeseburgers. I never left one neighborhood. I couldn't even make it to campus. I was like incapacitated, like hooked. I remember after 9/11, I think I did cocaine for like every single day.
Oh shit.
For like a month, to the point where it was like really fucked up. Yeah. Like I remember there was like a couple. There was like one girl was named Ida, and I don't know what her boyfriend's name was, and they would fight with each other, and they would sell drugs on the street corner and shit, and it was like a love. It was like Romeo and Juliet, but with cocaine. Yeah, it was just fucking chaotic. And there was a place called Plum Street Pub, which I feel like someone did a play or a movie on, and everyone there was on drugs, and it was the biggest shithole, and everyone was like.
So would you go there to sell or just hang out? Or?
Yeah, I would go there for wisdom, learning, and to practice Spanish. That's what I used to bring my Spanish homework there to the bar to practice with the guy who sold me drugs named Fernando. And then my lawyer said, and I was crying at the lawyer. This is so crazy, is that I remember going there and I'm like on trial for selling ecstasy. I have like 30 ecstasy pills in my pocket. My father's bringing me there. He doesn't know this. He'll hear this podcast. He'll be like, really? Really? You did this? You did this. And
so you had pills in your pocket going to trial?
I was.
You just
going to the lawyer's office. Not going to trial.
Okay.
I'm not a fucking psychopath.
That's why I was like, dude, you just
but I was like, if you ever seen somebody that you would never talk to, that would be me. Like that was that year. Like you would never talk to me. I was smoking like angel dust. Like I was just, I was like anything, right? And I'm just also telling you the story so I could like imagine it in real time. Like one day I'll look back at this and know that I told the story properly. They were like, so Rami, you're going to do time on your offense. I'm like, how could you make me do time on my first offense? So the other offense got thrown out. Like when I got arrested when I was 18, got thrown out because it was a legal search and seizure and they were, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And like the police were trying to scam me into doing all kind of shit for them. My dad's like, no, we're not doing that shit. And I'm like, yeah, it was like a complete fucked up thing. And I'm like, oh my God. So now I was red-handed guilty, right? But because I was operating with this one dude, he like, it was just a crazy, like, everyone's now out of prison and doing everything, right? Like their regular lives. But they were like, this one guy, is like under watch by federal marshals. They came from my house and like someone like supposedly killed somebody and they were coming from my house,
So they tried to RICO you. They tried to pin all these other people's stuff.
Well, they're like, you're going to do time.
Yeah.
It's like basically, and I'm like, oh, that's so unfair. And I have all these drugs on me and I'm like, it is. So you guys know how this is wrong. It's not how it's supposed to happen. I'm supposed to get a slap on the wrist and go to like 12-step meetings.
So what happened?
Huh?
What happened?
I mean, I ended up doing time on that offense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? On my first offense and shit. And
how
they
much
were
did
like,
you end up doing?
They tried to give me 5 years. Then I pled guilty somehow to 9 months. And then I ended up doing a couple months of that and got paroled.
Yeah.
So like
the first time I actually like went in front of a judge, I had skipped town on my probation for my first DUI. So this is the first time. By first time, I mean the first time I'm like in real trouble. And everyone was like, "Oh, slap on the wrist. You'll get a slap on the wrist." And I get in front of the judge, and he was like, "Well, the state's recommending 9 months." And I was like, "Wait, what? Like for a couple like DUI? Like, come on, man.
Come on, bro. It's ABCs, DUIs, whatever." It's not a big deal.
Ended up. It was the same kind of thing as the state suggested 9 months. Luckily, I pleaded it down to 4 and then ended up doing like 3 and then got out.
Fun.
Yeah, the best. But this is in Florida, in Palm Beach County. There's a higher tax bracket down there than I'm assuming than in New Jersey. How was that?
I remember I went, like, this is the thing. Up to the last day, I was like getting high and stuff. And I was just like, what? I remember going in and, just this time. And this was like, I had a physical bottom and a spiritual bottom.
Mm-hmm.
This is the physical stuff. And I was like, during the physical stuff when I lived here in New Brunswick, I couldn't, like, I broke into my own apartment because I didn't have the key, like shit like that. Mm-hmm. And just like literal things I could not operate. And then I go do the time. I probably get into like 5 fights within like the first 2 weeks and then it stops. But I mean, like I literally got my ass handed to me, like my whole shit split open.
I tell people that all the time.
And
same thing. Yeah. Yo, I walked in and they went TV room and I was like, no guys, I'm okay. And they go TV room and I was like, God damn it.
I got drunk in jail too.
Did you really?
Yeah, I wanted to get drunk with hooch. They used to have hooch or whatever when you would make it, but I didn't make it. I just somehow got it from somebody else. And that's why I'm really adamant about like learning how to cook now. Like I don't want You know what I mean? Like I was always a guy that
Toilet wine?
I was always a guy that managed to get somebody else to do it for me. You know, it's like get a girl who cooks or get a friend who makes the dinner and get the other jail bunkie who makes the hooch and you just drink it.
You're the seller that makes the hooch.
And now I'm on my spiritual path. I want to make the food. I want to make you juice. I want to make you a mocktail.
Yeah, you want to do it.
Me.
So what ends up? So you get into 5 fights your first 2 weeks. You're drinking hooch. You're having a time. You said you hit your physical bottom. What was your spiritual bottom then? Was that
so
after?
I get out of jail and then like I get the calls. Everyone's like, "Welcome home, fam. We out here." Because in jail it's called a correctional facility. So you figure out how to correct your wrong ways and do them better.
Yes. At least that's what they hope for.
Yeah, and for drug dealers. Or people that have
an education.
Yeah, So you're like, yeah, man, I'm out to go out there and do it bigger.
I learned so much from going to jail.
Yeah,
just about being better at doing crime.
Yes,
because everyone goes over their mistakes.
I became more Jewish in jail, I would say, because as a Christian dude, I would always read. They had the daily bread over there, and you were like, oh, the daily bread. It was like, you're like for anyone trying to like not get in trouble, you read the daily bread, and this guy's like, Rami, you better fast for Yom Kippur. And I was like, oh, I wanted to impress he was like my favorite like drug addict bunkie, older guy. I was very into like wisdom and stuff. And I'm like, his name was Smitty. The dude was,
of course, it was
shot out. Yeah, he told me a couple things. He told me fast for Yom Kippur, and he says, yeah, you see that guy? He trashed his cell like a hotel party. Like when someone left, there was a dude who like threw shit all over his cell before he left to state prison.
Yeah.
Like a hotel party. So he took all the toilet paper and like,
Just
you would trash a hotel room. That was the thing. So he trashed his cell. I don't know. That was
Smitty wasn't happy about it.
No, he thought it was really funny.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, Smitty.
Did you guys, before people would leave, did they, I mean, this was my experience, but people would just give their stuff away? Like,
I think you could leave people with whatever.
Well, because I had, when I was finally sentenced, I had my contacts in. This is kind of a stupid story, but it was so fitting for jail. I didn't have glasses. I had my contacts in. And when I got there, I was like, hey, I need a contact case and saline solution to the guard. And they were like, fuck off. Like, no. And I was like, you don't understand. I can't leave these in my eyes because I'll get an infection. But if I take them out, I cannot see. And they were like, fill out a form, I guess. So they gave me like and then someone heard me telling this to the guard, and they were like, hey, I'm leaving tomorrow. Do you want my stuff? And I was like, we can do that? And they're like, yeah, just, pay it forward. When you go to leave, make sure you give people your stuff.
That's rare. I don't know.
Okay, so I didn't know if that was a common thing.
I don't think people are like, here, give it this. I remember I wanted to be tough and like took somebody's shit.
Did you?
Yeah.
How'd that go? Did you take it? Well, because you can wrestle. Like you can.
Yeah, and at that point it was toward the end. I took his food or something. Like I was just
jacking trays, man.
It wasn't a tray, but it was like I took his muffin or something, but we swished and I just kept, I don't know. Like I always thought I was tougher than I really was.
Yeah.
I'm not that guy.
I'm not.
That's the reality. I'm not that.
Me too.
I'm not that. I'll fight back. If someone comes at me, I'll fight back. And that's why I've taken a lot of shots on the chin. You know what I mean?
I'm the same exact way. As I look this way so people think I try to be a tough guy.
No, and I'm a nice guy. Hello?
I'm a sweetheart. No, but literally, like, because I'm 6'1", 230 pounds, and I work out a lot, so I'm like a bigger guy. And constantly,
whoa.
When I first got to jail, it was always like, hey, big guy, big guy, big guy. And I was like, all right, like I get it. But it's one of those things where it's like, I'm the biggest. Like if someone comes at me or someone I care about, that's a different story.
Sure.
But like if someone's just going crazy on the train or like yelling at, like I'm just kind of like, all right, just look down at my feet. I don't want to have any trouble.
Yeah. I don't
no
want any
problems here, guys. No problems.
Oh my God. Yeah. So I lived a weird life there, thinking I was someone I wasn't, which is, still you sort of navigate that even when you're sober. But like, I got out of jail, 4 days. I went to some drug deal. My friends were all setting up. They robbed everybody with guns, and that was like crazy.
Your friends did, or your friends were the ones who got robbed?
Yeah, we were the ones who got robbed with guns. So it was like they stole the drugs, and they pistol whipped my buddy, and just like
And
that was like, I was like, I'm going to die.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, you could have my money and my chains, which was like silver and like $20. But it was fine. Like they stole other money and, but they were like, everyone run everything. And then from there on, like I got right back into selling drugs immediately. And then I was like, taking urine tests for parole and then taking urine tests for probation and then like trying to like get back on it. And then at some point I navigated, I'm like, I'm just going to drink and sell drugs. And I'm going to get a girlfriend and I'm going to navigate.
That'll fix it.
Even my mother, get a girlfriend. Do so, like, you know what I mean? At this point you're like 20 nothing, like you're get a girlfriend, So yeah, I'm thinking I'm 21 or 22, and navigating that, and then I started doing okay, and then, of course that relationship goes to shit because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I don't have any boundaries or nothing. I'm a complete savage, and I was very obsessed with loyalty. Like Sopranos was out. I'm gonna stay loyal. You know what I'm saying? It's my girl. So whatever. Fucking. I thought I was like the Jewish guy. I thought he was Italian. Like literally. I wanted to be like a fucking, I shopped at all the Italian stores, like the Menlo Mall.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing? Hey, no, seriously.
Kosha Dillz. How many times I gotta fucking tell you? No ER at the end.
Yeah. There's three kinds of people. People like you, people like me, and people I don't give a fuck about. Some shit. Yeah. You know what I mean? Hey, give it a door test. You hold up a door. You know what I'm saying? And that's like the shit I kind of was like obsessed with because my brother brought me to see Bronx Tale when I was growing up.
Watching The Sopranos, yeah.
Sopranos, but like also Sopranos, like the son was like selling ecstasy at Rutgers, and I'm like, I'm selling ecstasy at Rutgers. We're like the same guy. I got pounds of weed and there's Indian dudes here, and now it's me. And I wouldn't say I was like, I could have got canceled or, in today's world, or I was like racist, but it was like, all right, I got a yarmulke. I could drive through Highland Park. I'm like, all right, maybe I'll hang out with these guys. I'll dress Italian and I'll sell drugs with the Indians. And then the Indian guys got caught and the black dudes ratted me out and the fucking, the yarmulke at Highland Park didn't work. You get pulled over. Like all your greatest ideas when you're drinking, like that's all wrong.
It's all wrong.
It's all wrong. So you're like, nah, this is how it is. And you're like, no, that's anytime I start, if I'm in like a state of disarray and you're like, actually, that's not how it is. You know what I mean? You need to have a level head. And I thought like I had a genius idea. I thought I was, I put like 50 ecstasy pills up my ass and I'm like, I am Johnny Depp in Blow. I am moving kilos and kilos of cocaine. Like, no, you're not. You have a bag of bills up your ass. You know what I mean? You have a bag of bills up your ass.
A little different.
It's a little different. I mean, I respect the fact, but like, it's not happening.
Yeah, respect the hustle, but come on, man.
Respect the hustle, but you just gotta wipe your ass.
So what was the point where you were like, okay, I need to figure this out?
Oh, so I did it. That girl left me, and then it got really dark. It was just like
she wasn't loyal.
No, she got out with her life. Thank God for her. So she, like, I was back in school, and I was like, I gotta just graduate and then like get better. And then like I started doing drugs again. I started staying up on like started getting high off my own supply. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I started, staying up all weekend. And I'm like, holy shit, like up till 6 a.m. And you're like, or 4 a.m., 5 a.m., 6 a.m. And then you stay up so late, you're like, well, I just might as well stay up all next day and then go to bed. Because I'm already up, so I'll go to bed at a normal time the next day. So it's like you stay up Friday, you don't go to bed for Saturday morning, you'll go to bed Saturday night to wake up Sunday. You know what I mean? But you sleep all day Sunday, and because you didn't sleep for 2 days.
Yeah, because your body's still like, no, fuck you,
like,
asshole.
You idiot. Yeah. So the last, and like I said, I thought all these people like would never get caught, and this guy went, and like all my ideas were wrong, right? I went to school one day. Some guy, I was selling cemetery plots door to door. My last month of like me before I got popped. Yeah. And I was like up, and I would take uppers and downers. So I almost died, like because of the fucking
speedball.
Yeah. Oh, that's what it's called. Didn't sound like that when I did it.
Speedball.
It's called speedball. If you take a bunch of cocaine and a bunch of Tylenol PMs, it's called a speed bump. Nah, it's speedball.
Yeah,
it's
not,
a speedball.
Cocaine and heroin's the speedball, but I mean that's pretty much the same thing.
Yeah. A little curb. A little boop, boop, boop. So that happened. I started, passing out. Like, we would cold call places to sell cemetery plots and openings and closings of people that own plots. Because, when you buy a burial plot in a cemetery, so if anyone's listening, you don't just buy the plot and that's it. You got to pay for the opening and closing of the plot. So you got to pay somebody to dig
it
up.
out and dig it. Yeah.
Yeah, you just get that as you don't bury yourself, right?
Yeah.
So
was that your line? You don't bury yourself.
Yeah. You think you just got to hop in there?
What are you doing? We might throw you in there.
Yeah. So I was doing that and then doing door-to-door cemetery sales. Like, how would you like to invest in your future?
That's so twisted.
Seriously though, and I was like, I'll sell cocaine to the doctor, and then then I'll sell him like a cemetery plot once he overdoses. Like, I was crazy. I was thinking like
it's
that.
all coming together.
Yeah, now I do intriguing Jewish events, but that time in my life, that was one of my genius ideas. So I was still selling bags of this and that, and one guy wanted to get a bunch of stuff, and I was like in school during a summer session. And I was coming from doing door-to-door sales. And, I was on probation. And I went everywhere with all the drugs. Like, I wouldn't even leave it in my house because I thought people get it. So I just put in my balls everywhere I went. So anywhere I went, I just had half ounce of cocaine on me, whatever. So, of course, I'm in all my, Italian clothing that I bought at the mall. And I'm talking like these stores I think are still there. This place was called Ludi. I think it's still there. And it takes all probably shit. So everything's always half off. It's one of those places. Yeah. So I go and I get set up in this deal, and I'm running, and then I have the half ounce of coke in my pocket, and I throw all the small amounts of drugs, and I'm like running in my shiny pants and my stupid ass Ludi shoes and my feet. I'm a little fat fucking.
Where are you running to?
Running back into class. I come out of class. I'm thinking I got to run back into the school zone. For anyone, you don't run into a school zone if you're selling drugs, because it goes from a 3rd degree to a 2nd degree crime, which is guaranteed, prison time.
Yeah.
So just in case any of you guys out there are running into school, get out of there.
Yeah. So you're running back to get into class.
I want to just pretend like it's not happening.
Yeah.
And I wrestled. Undercover cops are jumping on me. Everyone's
because you were just
outside.
running, so they just jumped on you?
Yeah, they're chasing me. I'm running through the school with everybody.
But how did the cops start chasing you? That's
because I was set up by the kid.
That's the part I missed.
So I forgot to tell you too, so my bad. So
I
this
was
guy
so confused for a second. I was like,
texting me, whatever. I'm like, all right. I'm running back in, shaking off, and I have that amount, and I'm in handcuffs already because they saw me throw everything away, so they assumed I had nothing on.
So the guy set you up. You're running, throwing stuff.
I throw him off, and then he's on me, and I wrestled him off, and then I'm in handcuffs because I'm just like, all right, whatever, it's a wrap, and I'm like, I still have all the coke on me, and I'm like, oh my god, let me get it out of my pocket, and who knows, and no one found it. And then
so you were able to like wiggle it out and nobody found it?
And I thought, wow, God is so good to me because it didn't come up on a discovery. And I'm like, maybe I have a chance. So I had money at the house and this, and we're like, we're going to rehab. At that point, it was like $10,000 a month, which is so cheap in comparison. It's probably about $30,000 a month now.
I went for 42 days and it was like $28,000. Luckily, I had insurance at the time, but.
Yeah, this was like, they were like, the lawyers were like, you need to stay in something voluntarily so you have a chance of not doing like 5 years of prison because you got in a sting operation. You were like set up.
Yeah.
Like this is not.
They know why you were at the house. Yeah.
Yeah, like they know what I was like. I was set up by another guy they caught. You know what I mean? By a rat. So I'm like,
this fucking rat.
Yeah, and oh my god, like I was just like, I was just ready because the week before I was like staying up so late. I'm like, I gotta go back to meetings or I gotta get arrested because I'm not gonna
sleep.
stop.
Yeah,
and I need to go to bed. And I just made a song called "I Should Probably Go to Bed." So and that was it. I went to rehab. I was in jail for a week. My feet were killing me because
Running in those looties.
Yeah, running in the looties. And that was it, man. I just went poof. And I went to Endeavor House, it was called. Now it's like a methadone clinic or Suboxone. It's not even a rehab anymore. And that was it, man.
That was the last time.
That was it, dude.
So you've been sober ever since?
Yeah, bro. Just July 30th, 2004.
Wow.
It's
Congratulations,
like crazy.
man.
I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm not. I'm willing to work on myself. Now, it's amazing to work on yourself after you thought you've done so. Like in the beginning when you get sober and you meet someone sober, like, yo, I used to be so proud. And everyone's like, yeah, everything's cool. Like you got what, 5 years, 10 years?
5 years.
5 years is cool. Then you're like, all right, you'll hit another boom. Now you're going to work on you're going to go through something right now. And then you'll have 10 and you'll go through something, you'll have 15. And you're like, then I'm like, oh my God, I'm going through stuff now where I'm like, I never felt like this before. Because, the perception of when you compare yourself as somebody that's like us, that you should be where other people are, especially for people that are creatives and comics and performers and writers, especially writers, and people that are successful and with the social media now and seeing everyone else smiling at all these things, having fun and posting the best clip of everything.
Yep.
We think we should be somewhere else, right? We think that our qualification is by how many people that follow us and everything. And back in the day when I got high and drunk, there were like 3 years where there was not one picture, because the cool shit to do for people like us was to never have any fucking evidence. Nothing, no pictures,
nothing. It's weird.
I'm a zero. Nobody knows me. When I meet them, I'm enamored by them.
I tried the other day. I was going back through old friends of mine from college, their Facebook like photo albums. I'm not in a single fucking picture. And I remember partying with these people, but it's what you're talking. It's like, no. Like, don't take a picture of me doing this. Like, this is fucking illegal. Like, don't do that. And so then I was like, oh, fuck. Like, I was just gone. Like, if I didn't have the stories like in my head, they just wouldn't exist. So it's like an insane thing to be like.
And pretty much any picture of me with hair does not exist.
Dude, that's a great way to leave it, man. Plug everything one more time. Let everybody know where they can find you.
Yeah. Kosha Dillz is the Instagram, YouTube, KOSHA DILLZ. Listen to my music on Spotify, Kosha Dillz, KOSHA DILLZ. If you're overseas, it's Z. And KoshaDillzWorld.com is the website.
You got the pickle merch up there?
Yeah, KoshaDillzMerch.com. You could get bucket hats. You could get pickle socks. I got the pickle socks right here.
Show them.
Damn,
dude.
Damn, Kosha Dillz. Yeah, man. Made in China. What's poppin'? And yeah, man. But now I'm just like on a really awesome the other day I went to New Zealand and I did some shows out there and some conferences, and I was there for 2 weeks and I didn't post any pictures, really, like a psychopath.
Was it fun?
It was amazing. And I took so many pictures and I'm like, I'm going to make a photo album. So the only way, you know what I mean? Because I just don't want to be, hard copy books.
You don't want to contribute to the.
I just, you know what? Or I want to post it on a page with 0 likes, or someone said, you could just not post things. And I'm like, what? You know,
I have a lot of. It's funny. My ex used to say it all the time, but I have a lot of pictures where I go somewhere and it's fun, and I'll take like a couple of pictures, and then I won't even think to post it because I'm like, no, these are for me. And then all my stuff on like Instagram and everything is just comedy related. Mm-hmm. And my ex used to always be like, you know, you can post those other pictures too. Like, it doesn't just have to be content. And I was like, wait, like I can actually post like nice things.
Yeah,
like, it doesn't have to be like ha 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 ha, like make me laugh, clown.
Yeah,
which was another kind of. It's the reverse of what you're saying, but it was another eye-opening thing where it's like, oh, I can just be a person. Like I don't have to. And it's the same thing too. It's like you don't have to post anything actually if you don't want to.
You don't have to post anything if you don't want to. And you could also start another page that barely anyone follows and that you follow 8,000 people and 200 follow you. All the things that kill your ego and make you feel...
Just do that.
Make you feel small, because it's okay to be small. It's okay to be smaller than someone. It's okay to be bigger than someone. And like your comfortability with yourself shouldn't make other people uncomfortable. Like, I like being big and Jewish, and it helps me navigate through certain things, but I never want that to make somebody else feel less. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm just doing it to navigate through my own trauma and shit.
Trying to get through your life.
Yeah, I'm trying to get through it, man. I don't want to go back to wearing luties and selling cemetery plots. Do I? Do I?
Dude, thanks for coming on. This was a blast.
Pleasure.
Thank
was
you, everybody,
all
so
mine.
much for listening. At Brennan T Comedy on all social media.
All my drinking buddies are dead. Sorry.
You said that before.
R.I.P. I said it before, but I really thought so many of them have passed away.
Yeah, I
of
dedicated.
overdoses.
I did a one-man show, and I dedicated it to one of my best friends because Tony Betts, Bet on Betts. It was he went through this whole thing.
He passed.
Yeah, so you know this. You've heard the story a million times. We all heard it, where he was like, "I'm gonna get sober for my parents," and then he couldn't. And then he was like, "I'll get sober for my girlfriend." Then he couldn't. And then she got pregnant. He goes, "I'll get sober for my son." Was dead before his son's second birthday. I was like, "Come on, man."
Damn it, dude.
Gotta do it
my
for
buddy,
me.
My buddy Andy, he came with me to the first Modest Yahoo show. Italian dude
Of course.
on ecstasy, trying to flirt with Orthodox Jewish women in 2004, and he passed. And I love him so much. He gambled everything. He was the biggest psychopath, and there was not a chance that he would ever live to be as long as he had lived. And he lived. He lived great, but it's a sad disease. So it's sad, but here we are, man. We met because of this. We did it. So hopefully we bring some people joy and laughter and get through another day. And that's cool.
Kosha
That is
Dillz.
cool.
Check it out.
Hell yeah.
Boom.
Bye.